All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to talk about all those facts you've heard your entire life. You know, the ones that just sound true, the ones everyone seems to know, but are actually completely wrong. So, let me just ask you something right off the bat. It's one of the first things we all learn about being human. How many senses do you have? Go ahead, think about it. If you said five, sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch, well, you're not alone, but you're also wrong. That's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, that whole five senses idea, it's ancient history, literally. It comes from Aristotle. Science has, moved on just a little bit since then. We now know there are at least 9 senses, and some scientists argue it's more like 20. Think about it. You have proprioception. That's how you know where your hands and feet are without looking. It's how you can touch your nose with your eyes closed. You have a vestibular sense for balance, thermoception for telling hot from cold, and nociception, which is your sense of pain. Honestly, you can even walk across the room without them.
And that leads us perfectly into our first area, all the crazy myths we believe about our very own bodies. Let's start with a real classic. Come on, you've heard this one, right? Maybe you've even said it. I mean, you look down at your wrist, you see those bluish veins, and it just kind of makes sense. But nope, that is not what's going on at all. Let's just set the record straight. Human blood is never blue. It's always red. When it's loaded with oxygen, it's a super bright cherry red. When it's low on oxygen, it's a much darker, deep red. That blue color you see, it's just an optical illusion. It's all about the weird way light filters and scatters through the layers of your skin. Your body isn't doing some kind of magic trick when you get a cut. Oh, here's another one. A favorite of parents everywhere on a cold day. Put a hat on or you'll catch your death. The idea is that your head is like a giant chimney, just letting all your body heat pour out. So this myth actually comes from a pretty funny, flawed U.S. military study back in the 1950s. They put soldiers in Arctic survival suits, but with no hats. So, of course, most of the heat they lost escaped from their heads. In reality, heat escapes from any part of your body that's exposed to the cold. Your head is only about 10% of your body's surface area. So yeah, a hat helps, but so do pants and a good pair of gloves. Okay, so if we can get basic facts about ourselves so wrong, it's probably no surprise that some of the wildest myths out there are about the animal kingdom. I mean, everybody knows this one. It's like rule number 1 of camels. They're these amazing walking canteens, right? Got these big old water tanks on their backs for crossing the desert. It just seems so logical. Except it's totally wrong. Those humps aren't full of water at all. They're full of fat. We're talking up to 80 pounds of it. It's basically a giant energy pack for when there's no food around. The real story is actually way cooler. Camels are absolute masters of water conservation. Their red blood cells are oval-shaped so they can flow easier when dehydrated, and they can actually let their body temperature change dramatically to avoid sweating. They are biological marvels, just not in the way we thought. We see this in movies and cartoons all the time. The chameleon is sneaking around, and poof, it blends perfectly into the background. They're the ultimate ninjas of the animal world. Or are they? So first, how do they even do it? It's pretty incredible. They have these special skin cells called chromatophores, and inside those cells are tiny nanocrystals. By basically flexing and relaxing these cells, they can change how light reflects off of them, which is what creates those amazing color shifts. But they aren't using this incredible superpower to hide. And that's the real kicker. They change color mostly to communicate. It's their way of talking. Bright colors might mean, hey, I'm feeling aggressive, or hey, look at me, I'm looking for a mate. They also use it to control their body temperature, getting darker to soak up the sun or lighter to cool down. It's basically a mood ring and a personal thermostat, not an invisibility cloak. Okay, for our last section, let's get into the lies that weren't just simple mistakes or misunderstandings. These are the ones that were created on purpose, usually to sell you something. This one feels like solid advice, doesn't it? Carrots have vitamin A. Vitamin A is good for your eyes, so eating carrots helps you see in the dark. A plus B equals C. Simple. But the real story is so much more interesting. It's actually wartime propaganda. During World War II, the British Royal Air Force developed this brand new, top-secret radar technology that let their pilots find enemy planes in the dark. To keep the Germans from figuring out their secret weapon, they started a huge public campaign claiming their pilots were just so successful because they ate a ton of carrots. And the story was so good, so believable, that here we are, decades later, still believing it. And here we go. The big one. The golden rule of healthy living. It's been repeated by everyone, everywhere, for generations. It feels like a fundamental law of the universe. But this law didn't come from a doctor or a scientist. It came from a marketing guy. In the late 1800s, a man named John Harvey Kellogg, yep, that Kellogg, was trying to sell a brand new invention called cornflakes. So he started pushing this idea of breakfast being critical. The message worked so well, it just became fact. The actual science today, it shows that your overall diet and how you live your life is way more important than what specific time you eat your first meal. So, after all of that, from our own senses to what we eat in the morning, what's the big takeaway here? It all boils down to the simple but really powerful act of questioning things. Think about it, whether it's propaganda from a war, a clever bit of marketing, or just a simple mistake that got passed down from person to person, so much of what we call common knowledge is really just a good story, a story that got told so many times it started to sound like the truth. And that really brings me to my final question for you. After hearing all this, what's the one fact that you've just always accepted as true without a second thought? What's the one thing that maybe, just maybe, you'll start to look at a little differently now? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.